You are not confused. You are not inconsistent. You are not lacking discipline. You are operating within a divided current of mind and mistaking that division for weakness. There is a structure beneath what you feel. One part of you advances with intention. Another withdraws, questions, delays, or quietly resists. And in this conversation, I want to show you something precise. Why this opposition exists, what it actually is, and how it may be converted into a form of usable, directed mental force. If you appreciate serious conversations about the structure of the mind, subscribe. These discussions build upon each other. Let us begin with something simple. There are moments when your intention feels clear. You decide to act. You feel a certain internal alignment, as if your thoughts, your will, and your direction are momentarily in agreement. But then, without warning, another current appears. A subtle contraction, a thought that questions the effort, a feeling that suggests delay, a quiet inclination towards something easier. And you experience this as contradiction. You ask yourself, why do I sabotage my own decisions? Why does my mind turn against me? But notice the assumption hidden in these questions. You assume that the mind should be singular, linear, unopposed. And because it is not, you conclude that something is wrong. But this conclusion is not accurate. In the Hermetic teaching, expresses a principle that is often misunderstood. Everything contains its opposite, not as an error, but as a necessary condition. Heat implies cold. Movement implies rest. Expansion implies contraction. And the same is true within your own mental life. Every forward impulse carries within it a counter-impulse, not as sabotage, but as polarity. The mistake most people make is immediate. They interpret the opposing pole as an enemy. They say, this resistance should not exist. This doubt is a flaw. This hesitation is weakness. And from that moment, they enter into conflict with their own structure. But consider something carefully. If polarity is inherent, then opposition is not a malfunction. It is a function. Atkinson makes clear that mental states differ not in kind, but in degree. This is not a poetic statement. It is a mechanical one. Fear and courage are not separate forces. They are degrees of the same force. Indecision and certainty are not different minds. They are positions along the same mental scale. Resistance, then, is not foreign to your intention. It is the same energy, expressed at a different point. Now pause and examine your own experience again. When you resist something, is there no energy present? Or is there perhaps a kind of tension, a tightening, a holding back, a contained movement? That is not absence. That is force without direction. This is where a subtle shift must occur. Instead of asking, how do I remove this resistance? You begin asking, what is the nature of this energy? Because if it is the same force, then it may be redirected. If this perspective is helping you think more clearly about your own mind, take a moment to like the video. And if you wish to continue studying these principles with depth and precision, subscribe. These ideas unfold progressively. Most individuals respond to inner opposition in predictable ways. They attempt suppression. They push the feeling down. They try to ignore it. They force themselves into action through tension. Or they do the opposite. They yield entirely. They follow the resistance. They postpone. They rationalize inaction. Both approaches share the same misunderstanding. They treat the opposing pole as something separate from themselves. But it is not separate. It is part of the same current. In us, the mind is described as a field in which attention organizes force. This idea is essential. Where attention goes, structure forms. Where repetition occurs, habit stabilizes. So when you fight resistance emotionally, you are, in fact, feeding it, not intentionally, but structurally. You hold it in attention. You react to it. You reinforce its pattern. There is another method, quieter, more deliberate. You observe, not passively, but precisely. When resistance appears, you do not immediately act upon it, nor do you attempt to crush it. You hold it in awareness, and you begin to examine. What is its quality? What is it pointing toward? What is its direction? Let us take something practical. You sit down to begin a task. Almost immediately, you feel the impulse to delay. Now, instead of labeling this as laziness, you examine it. There is discomfort. Why? Perhaps the task is unclear. Perhaps it contains uncertainty. Perhaps it demands effort in a direction you have not yet organized. That discomfort is information, and within it, there is energy. Now consider what happens if you redirect. Instead of avoiding the task entirely, you narrow it. You define a smaller entry point. You convert vague effort into specific movement. The same energy that resisted now becomes engaged. Or take doubt. Doubt is often treated as something to eliminate, but observe it closely. Doubt frequently contains perception. It senses potential difficulty. It detects possible failure points. If you suppress it, you lose that perception. But if you refine it, you convert it into foresight. This is the essence of mental transmutation, not the removal of the opposite, but the shifting of its degree. The concept of mental vibration suggests that thought is not static. It moves. It changes. It can be directed. And this direction is not achieved through forceful emotional reaction. It is achieved through steady, repeated, conscious adjustment. This requires discipline of a particular kind, not harshness, not pressure, but steadiness. You must be willing to observe your own mind without immediately identifying with every movement within it. You must be willing to pause, to examine, to choose direction deliberately. At first, this feels slow. You may even feel as though you are doing less, but in reality, something more precise is occurring. You are no longer reacting. You are organizing. Over time, the experience changes. The same patterns that once created friction begin to create structure. The hesitation becomes a moment of calibration. The doubt becomes a refinement tool. The resistance becomes stored energy, waiting for direction. And gradually, something important becomes clear. You are not divided. You are polarized. And polarity, when understood, is not conflict. It is potential. Most people spend their lives attempting to eliminate half of their own mental experience. They label one side as productive and the other as problematic. And in doing so, they weaken themselves because they are constantly resisting their own structure. But the moment you begin to understand polarity, not as opposition to be destroyed, but as energy to be directed, you step into a different relationship with your own mind. You no longer fear hesitation. You study it. You no longer reject doubt. You refine it. You no longer fight resistance. You convert it. And this conversion is not dramatic. It is quiet. It is gradual. It is built through repeated moments of awareness and direction. Most people attempt to fight themselves. Few take the time to understand the mechanism by which their thoughts arise, oppose, and transform. And yet, the mind does not require force to be mastered. It requires understanding, and once understood, even opposition begins to serve you.